Hello, this is my second video. Today we're going to talk today. I've only done it one day. Going to talk about this thing. The other one kicked me off, got me moving. This was going to be my first one, but I don't know. I just couldn't get motivated to get started. It took a whole week just to move a little bit, but once you get moving, you want to do it and finish it. So I'm going to talk about this thing today. This is, well, everything we're going to talk about here is news. It's my opinion on the news. I'm asserting fair use. So what? Okay, we're talking about this thing because it's the triangle, aka pyramid UFO. It's been on the news. There's Tucker Carlson, big viewership with Jeremy Corbell, who broke the story. He was given a video, originated with somewhere in the Navy, which was confirmed by John Greenwald with the Pentagon, saying, yes, this actually did come from us. Now, I'm here to mostly talk about, what probably makes it work. That's what I'm good for, possibly. But I want to introduce it a little bit with some background, and these guys, give them credit for bringing it out. But these rumors about these things have been going on for years. The stories are out there. It's just a big deal now because the Pentagon is confirming it, and they're authoritative, and it's all over Fox News, a very big program there, and confirmed. And I'm just going to dig into it a little bit. That guy came to the window when I was practicing. I'll ignore him. And that's just something, that's an animated GIF of this thing, which I should be talking about instead of saying so much. Now this is just a little drawing I made. I have a theory about how these things work. They absorb light, they pump it through themselves and around themselves, they make a bubble out of it, or an aura, and they float around in it, basically. And it mitigates the effect of gravity because, gravity barely affects light. So if you're in a light bubble, which we don't really see in nature on a big scale like this, we're seeing it in clouds because, a photon is pretty big compared to a water molecule, but we don't see that. You have to be an oddball like me thinking about these things to see how that would envelop a water molecule, move it. That's why, you go from ice, solid ice, to more fluid, liquid water, to anti-gravity water in the air. We call that a cloud, and you'll say, well, it's density, it's buoyancy, it's steam-like, it's this, that. Well, why is that? It's because of light moving through it. It's at a higher energy level. It gets some heat into it, which allows some visible light in, which allows even more visible light in. Sometimes that will, depending on what it is, it'll pull anything through it depending on what it is. These things are, presumably intelligently made, and I'm saying they can be, and we can do it now. That's my bottom line, is to get doing this stuff. Whether that's real or not, that might be a complete fantasy, for all I personally know. I've never seen anything like that or have zero experience with it. But a lot of believable people, and I do believe them, make these claims about these things. And now you're seeing the videos and confirmations and things like that. So it's time to speak up and weigh in. I've tried to be... I didn't think I'd be making videos, but I don't mind it. I think it'll be fun once I get used to it. So, enough about me. Let's talk about what I think. This thing is a triangle UFO propulsion, and I'm making a little graphic there to explain it very simply in steps. Try to make it comprehensive but understandable to a regular person, which I am not a physicist, I am an engineer. So I'm nuts and bolts, and I probably explain things at that level. And so let me go through these steps. What do I think this is? What's happening here, Kelly? Number one, ambient cold light is absorbed, pulled out of water, air, space itself, by the skin and or large absorbers on the top. So I see that thing, I see it's black. It's just like Vanta Black, which is a thing human beings can make, do make. It absorbs 99% of visible light. So that's what we want to do. We want to pull it through the black part and pump it out those white lights there and that slightly colored light in the middle. We don't care what color it is if there's no color to it. That doesn't really matter. That's why these things are infrared. It's just heat. It's just what's ever in the air. What's in the air that day. It looks like a nice sunny day there. And it might be warm. There's temperature there. It's, warm is relative to the coat you're wearing, and light goes right, and heat goes right through water too. So to that thing, if it's as advanced as we think it seems to be and could be, that's my point. Let's do this. I'm here to tell you how and motivate it. It's entirely possible. So I'm thinking the top of this thing, I'm looking at those lights, I'm like, oh, okay, the top's pulling it right through the lights. And it's also pumping it around. You can't see that, on this drawing. Somebody did where is it? Well, it's on the tapes. I should have had that prepared. If you look at these, this one right here, one of these has a glowing aura around it. Hopefully I did put that on here and I'll find it later, but I'm gonna roll here, so keep talking. Yeah, it's pulled down through those things. Like the top of that thing might be black, below it it's white. The same thing with the Tic Tacs. They say they flash quickly, and if it's white and black, then it's going to be gray or silvery, and half of these things are described that way. So it's all predictable, explainable, and so I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to move on to 2 here. Highly absorbent, yet photoluminescent structure to absorb and emit light, e.g. hydrophobic, absorbent Vanta Black skin, large graphene absorbers for in, graphene for through, and graphene with an A for out. And what's graphene? It's graphene which has hydrogen in it, like a hydrogen balloon. You ever see those float? Of course you do. Now what if those were made efficiently down to the atomic level, which we can do now? It's not ultra material, it's meta, and we can do it now. Graphene, we can make that. They're making tons of it. They're looking for a buyer, markets. It's a new thing. We're looking for something to do. Well, I got something for you to do. You're going to be waveguides for this gizmo. All right, so that's what that is. You make a sandwich out of it to start. Vanta Black, graphene, graphene. And you start building little tiny ones, little triangles, whatever you want. Then what? Then what happens? Number 3, light waveguided through and around skin or through emitters with a metamaterial Vanta Black graphene combination. That's what I just said, repeating myself here. So let's skip. To 4, light, mass equivalence, pumped through skin and large emitters. So here we're making a point here that thrust is when you throw mass out the back. Okay, explode it out. You lose weight quick enough in a gravitational field. Your acceleration of your lost weight is greater than the acceleration of the gravity. We've all seen it. We know what a rocket does. The role of light in that is vastly underplayed. You can go ahead and try to explode something without it, because all it is stored light. We're pumping it. We're doing the same thing, only without the excess mass you're carrying around. Which, it's understandable why we're doing that now. And we didn't skip straight from balloons to this. But now it's time to start looking at reality, even if it comes from a goofball on YouTube. Because, that's nature. That's just the way it is. So that's your mass equivalent. That's in there for the physicists to enjoy and the engineers that are looking at this stuff. And that's what, space is light. That's your terahertz background, cosmic background radiation. So you're acting like a submarine. Some submarines, the efficient ones, pump water through them. They don't push it behind them. So that's what these guys are doing here. And we want to do, whether or not they're doing, the aliens, unquote, are doing this or not. We're going to do it. And I guess we can move on. And Kraft's mass, number 5, is offset by overwhelming loss of mass equivalence. So if I'm constantly thrusting and I'm in a bubble of light which is not affected by gravity, logically you're free from gravity. Again, we haven't, you can see it in nature, but it's counterintuitive to mainstream science right now, because they never thought about what about a bubble of light. We've all seen bubbles of this and that, air and water, blah, blah, blah. But who the heck ever thought of a bubble of light in air? You can't see it, what would it be like? It's a question that, I've never seen it posed, I've never seen it asked, I've never seen it answered. But these UFOs and UAPs and videos beg the question. And I think I have an answer, and I've had it since 2012, basically, of what's going on with these. Or what could be going on and should be. So, we're back at 5. Kraft's mass is offset by... That's for physicists to look at that, and I know that's convinced a couple of people, or at least got them to think about what I'm saying, because it may not be right, but it ain't wrong either. You're not going to falsify the underlying idea behind it, because it's hardwired into nature. It's just not being used yet here optimally by us human beings. That's my opinion, and I want to see that change. Number 6, mass equivalence could be pumped around or right back out as needed, cell by cell. Well, that's kind of a catch-all for any of these things. How might they work? You have to, free your mind. You want to pump it in this side and out the other side, or straight out around the bubble, or, imagine you can do whatever you want with it and then work backwards. I mean, what's the ideal scenario? You want to do everything with it. But, some of these things, there's the tic-tac, and there's this one and that one, the gimbal, whatever it is. And, they might be for different purposes and have different systems on them, and who knows, maybe there's more than one alien here, maybe there's a whole batch of them, they all have a different, one likes diesel, one likes electric cars, one likes regular gas cars, one insists on 12 cylinders, 4-wheel drive, whatever it is. So then what? Yeah, as neat. That's just kind of a CYA I put in there for myself for later. Number 7. Radiation pressure emissions might feel like a force field at rest and used for bumper cars defense. Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. What else can you say about that? A force field, I remember when that came out, when I was writing this, making this little graphic, the Bob Lazar stuff was on, I don't know, television, I guess. A lot of people were talking about it more than they usually are. Or no, I had seen Corbell's. Here he is again. Where is he? He's over here. He's a filmmaker. Most of you probably know it. This guy here, he's a filmmaker. That's probably why somebody slipped these videos to him. And he did a thing on Bob Lazar, and a lot of people watching this know who that is. And he's the guy who says he worked at Area 51, back engineering, reverse engineering, UFOs. And he said something that this reminded me of. Oh, he said he said, well, we were disassembling the reactor, he calls it. And, he went to touch it, and it felt like a force field. And even when the thing shut off, what I'm saying is, even when the thing shut off when it's on, it's moving light, it's pumping light, it's furiously doing that. But if they work the way I think they do, and he has another theory about what that is and how it works and all that, but it did make me think a little bit. Like, well, okay, you shut it off, it's sitting there, Do you want somebody to touch it? No. It's just doing its thing, with a little force to it. Just when it's sitting there, off. I don't know, something about that made sense. This thing, I don't know what year this is. All right, November 20, it wasn't that one. Oh, well, the first ones I was doing go back even further than that, so... that's when I thought of it. Bumper cars defense. Well, you hear all these stories about time dilation. I was flying across the Bermuda Triangle, and suddenly I was all the way in Miami, and it was only 15 minutes. Well, maybe you got caught in the wake of one of these things. You got moved. Time didn't change. You just got moved and didn't know it. It happened so fast that... I don't know. I'm getting off topic a little bit, but that's why I put that number 7 on there. And radiation pressure, I wanted to drop that little phrase because people know what that is. They know light has mass. They know it has momentum. It's not well understood, but we know it's there and what it is. And this is where science is lagging. Science is lagging. Tinfoil hats on YouTube. That's a problem. But science has a lot of problems. Institutional science. But don't worry about it. People can think for themselves, like these guys. Private sector has ideas too. And we know the military has to protect us and keep quiet about some things. So, let's move on to number 8. Mass of craft is far less affected by gravity, if at all. G-forces are mitigated. Well, the G-forces are what's baffling these pilots because they're seeing these things go so fast, stop, turn on a dime, kill anybody in there if they were subject to gravity and inertia. And I'm saying they're not in the same way, the jet is. And I know why, and it makes perfect sense to me. And I think we can do this. And no, I'm not surprised that they're observables. In hindsight, I'm not. I didn't come up with this idea because of, well, never mind. G-forces mitigated. Yeah, gravity and inertia are going to be mitigated by this stuff because it's enveloped in light. It's intelligently controlling it around itself, using it to its advantage, deterministically, whether they're drone robots flying around in these things or not. It's no surprise to me that they do this sort of thing, or that somebody is doing it, because I think we could do it ourselves in just a little while if we listen to the tinfoil hats a little bit. Where are we? Force field, the massive, the G-forces. That's not even a thought with this. You're floating. The Earth is going 67,000 miles an hour. So if that thing throws itself in drive or neutral or one of those, it's going to go 67,000 miles an hour. Right there, it's got to make an effort to not float away. Again, it's counterintuitive, but if you start thinking about this all the time, it starts making a little bit more sense. We're moving, not that thing. That thing's only, glomming on to gravity by taking its foot off the gas. So G-forces are not a thing. You would not spill your drink in that thing if you flipped upside down. You're in your lazy boy anyway, with a mouse driving it and a TV remote. You have to get into the mindset, and then you can just see how they're. I don't know. What are they doing? I don't know. Anyway, air, water never touches craft. Inertia mitigated, so it's not touching anything. Except light. It's got wavelengths of light around it, enough to keep it bubbled up, floating around. Not involved with your gravity, your dirty air or water. We're just coming through to take a look, see. And so it's like a balloon in a car. Hit the gas, it flows forward. Why? Because inertia is mitigated. Why? Because the gas in there is pumping light. What's a gas have to do with that big triangle? Because every other atom in that thing is quote unquote gas. It's a thing. It may not be in the gaseous state, but you run an electron through what's holding it in there, which is carbon, graphene or whatever, and it makes it behave like a gas temporarily to absorb. Then the next electron tells it, okay, cool down. You're pumping, you're absorbing and emitting, only highly efficiently in an intelligent, directed way for a purpose. And that's what we can do. Whether or not this thing exists at all as a pyramid, is an artifact. Whoa! How do you get on there? Who knows what it is? Yet. Well, some people know. Whatever. I'm out here saying I probably know what it is, how it works. Air, water never touches craft. I said that. 10. Craft is effectively in a propelling transmedium bubble of light. So I had been making these things for, these little graphics for the gimbal UFO and the Tic Tac UFO. And then this one became popular again. Actually, well, and that's a side issue. Yeah, sometimes they call it an envelope for this thing because, you know, you can just see it shaped that way underwater. It's easier to visualize instead of a round a sphere like it might be out in the air. It might be more efficient in the water to just keep it close. I don't know. It's interesting to think about, though, and that's our purpose on being our reason for being on here, just to kick this stuff around. I don't know how long I've been going on here, but I'll keep going. So, here are a couple of Twitter moments. You know, I can't help but blather on and on about these things, and I've done some of that on Twitter. So let's just eyeball quickly. Oh yeah, this is why I got... This came out in early December, this article by the Debrief. They have rumors about this, and supposedly there's a great picture, even better than the ones Corbell got, possibly going to be leaked to them. You know, good luck to you with that. And this guy here, he's a DC journalist, Tom Rogan, and he's kind of hinting that yes, that picture exists. So that's what got me to make this thing. And then last week, that Corbell footage came out. So that's why I decided to start with the triangles. And I have done so apparently. So here I am talking about this stuff here. These are Tic Tacs. Why are they there? I don't know. Oh, because it operates like a Tic Tac. Okay, I guess that's my point there. Here we are with this thing. That's Vanta Black. Absorbs light. Would be perfect for a triangle or anything else. But it's also hydrophobic. Oh, it goes right in the water, look. Don't touch me, water. I'm just here absorbing light through that little bubble around me. So, you know, that's just the kind of thing that tells you, yeah, we could do this, whatever. There's some metal that's floating. It's made out of, it's coated with Vanta Black. It should sink. I don't know what it, I forget the metal it is. This link tells you, but I'm not going to go through every single thing yet. This is just musing on terahertz waveguides, and these waveguides, look, you know, they'll absorb any wavelength. Space itself, visible light in the atmosphere, less visible light in the water, the heat in the water, the heat in the atmosphere. The radar in the atmosphere is shooting at it, it spins it around, shoots it back at you, perhaps. Here's a whole moment on metamaterials. I'll go over that. I'll do another video on that. And this is a little, this is a little gimmicky GIF I made. You know, it's underwater, it's in a bubble, boom, and light pumps light like that. And Corbell's thing has it flashing. You know. I made this goofy thing before that came out. That doesn't mean anything, but if light's involved in everything, I just think it's more important than other people do right now. So there was that thing. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Somebody took Corbell's footage and blew it up a little bit. Yeah, part of it you could see that this triangle, or he calls it a pyramid object, which may be some, you know, well, I have an idea why a triangle can look like a pyramid, but it's not important right now. And, well, I just like this. This tells me that I'm right, if that's right. So, of course I like it. Okay, that's a little quick moment there. What is this? Oh, look. Rebound of large jets from super hydrophobic surfaces in low gravity. Well, that sounds like what we're talking about, doesn't it? So follow me on Twitter. Follow me here. Like me here. Notify bell here. All that stuff. But yeah, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I add to it. A lot of people know a lot more about a lot of things than me, but I focus on this stuff. Hydrogenated graphene. What is that? That's just, every day I look at these articles, see what's new, what came out, what's going on, who's doing what. And it's all hard science. They don't, I'm looking at it from an engineering viewpoint. This is good that you're doing this science. What can I do with it that's practical? What does it, where does it rubber meet the road, whatever that is. Terahertz aqueous photonics. I don't know. Terahertz moving through water. Yeah, water gets cold. The bottom of the ocean, is it as cold as space? No. But, you're using that same waveguide maybe. I don't know. So let's get off this one. And we're on to another similar Twitter moment I made. I don't know, different name maybe for Google to catch it. Similar ideas here. Here's an old drawing I made. Here's a triangle there. This was a sketch for drawing I never made, or a graphic I never made. Just going through the steps of what I'm trying to talk about here. Light, matter, gravity, interaction, etc. Here's a little jokey thing comparing that one of these triangles to this movie thing, which is funny at the time. What are we doing here? Oh yeah, coincidence that a butterfly, which that thing absorbs light and pumps it through. Now science to date will tell you, well, it's mating, it's signaling, it's this and that. I'm saying it's using that thing. It may be doing that too, but what's the real point of it? I mean, let's be practical here, please. I say it's the same as that thing. Photonic crystals in nature. Yeah. Somebody noticed. Somebody else noticed, okay? There's that again. Smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy. Yes, that's why it goes right into that ocean and out. Just like that Puerto Rican thing. If that's what it's doing, I can't interpret video well enough, but it looks like it is. Enough to start a good argument, which is always good. Keep it friendly. Here's the thing with Vanta Black. Regular black. Vanta Black. Regular black. Vanta Black. Pulling that mass equivalent light through and pumping it out. Well, this is good here. I like this. What is a waveguide? See those little waves going through there? That's how they go right through the skin of that thing. It comes in the Vanta Black side, goes through that. We'll call this, for the sake of argument, graphene, but it isn't. It's just a little model of how it works generically, and you can see it. Okay, it's coming in this side. Okay, Captain Kirk, we need it over here to blow it out down that way. Okay, it came in there, and so that's the top, and it's going. Okay, this could be side by side. This could be a cell side by side. Or we take this, twist it around this way, and we're sucking it in the front and blowing it out the back. Maybe we just want a little radiation pressure in this area here to move some Piper Cub from Bahamas to Miami in 1 minute. Okay, well, just wrap it up in that thing and move it over there. It was a mistake. I'm sorry. You didn't lose time. We just, moved you. Sorry. What's this thing? That's basic graphene amplifier moving terahertz frequencies. And that's what space basically is. terahertz frequency. That's the cold. That's why it's cold. 1 terahertz is what? I don't know. It's like minus. I should have that handy, but it's all the temperatures in space are around that until you get close to the sun or something, and it starts warming up a little there. Yes, yeah. Now I remember. 1 terahertz, minus 375 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly. And I just eyeballed, like, how cold is it where? I don't know, there. Maybe near the moon. Maybe you get 200 miles from the moon, and that's exactly what it is, 1 terahertz. You get further, it goes up, closer, it goes down, and or vice versa. I forget, because you're talking temperatures versus frequency. You got to do 3 conversions to figure that out. So we got to up our science game on that. Anyway, that's how you can see it going right in there. And these scientists are working on this probably for something, 5G or something, but it's going to be applied other places. That we saw on the other one. Oh, here's an absorber. It doesn't tell you what it is. Well, it's just a generic, whatever it is, we can dig into that. You don't have to use graphene. There may be something better. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's all kinds of different ways to do this. But I'm giving you a start on the easy way. We can start now, learn, and improve. Someday we'll catch up to the butterfly, which already knows this stuff. And there's that guy again. Thank you for that. I was thinking of doing that myself, but never got around to it. I like that. I bet that's what a butterfly looks like too. That's what, 2 wings right there. There's this thing I put everywhere, the hydrogenated graphene, aka graphane user's guide. That's a really good paper somebody wrote. That's a little mini Bible. That's me promoting my other moment. And here's that thing again. This little animated GIF. And I guess I'm getting closer to the end of where I want to be. And that tells you, we went over this. That just catches people's eye to dig in if they're interested. This guy came to the window when I was practicing this speech, but he's haven't seen him lately. 2 days ago. This is just another look at that. This is people were saying, well, that's not a pyramid or a triangle, that is merely a camera artifact, which may be correct. I bust on this guy, but he's got a good thick skin and a lot of good ideas. He makes people think, he makes me think, like, man. Usually in the exact opposite direction, but like in this case, I'm not buying it. I don't think, come on. Telling me the Navy's gonna humiliate the president by letting the Pentagon say that it's a camera, it's possible, but I think I'm more possible than that because I know this works. Do I know that's what it is? No. All I have to do is look at a cloud or look at a snowflake, watch it sublimate without melting. What is that? That's anti-gravity water. So's fog. Things like that. That's what we're going to harness. It's right in front of our faces. So, am I about done here? Yeah, I think so. This is... Oh, I guess that's from this article. Somebody mentioned the lights were spherical. You look at them, it's like, well, no, those three corners, that's just three cylinders. You know, vortices, giant, large wavelengths of light are moving through those waveguides and whatnot. And it was just somebody wrote sphere in that article. And you gotta wonder if the sphere's stuck in that thing. Could be, I don't know. Maybe I just like looking at this thing because it's moving the light through in my mind. That's, this is what I'm imagining, this sort of stuff on a very small level, but the numbers are so large. And when you get the efficiencies perfect and the numbers large, you can easily see why a thing might move around like that. But now I'm going to wind down and sign off and say goodbye, probably by leaving this thing on and saying the links to this stuff will be below in other words, you can find this. I'm going to make it easy to find this in the video description. If not, no, it'll be there. And thank you for watching. And now it's time to say goodbye by pressing Control